Hello friends, and welcome back for another video. Today we have a brand new portal, and they have brought us Covenant once more. I wasn't sure if we were going to get another portal for the weekend based off the calendar. It would make sense that it was a Wilderness or Covenant one though, so let's take a peek because they did bring us a brand new hero and our second new construct. In this case we are going to be doing Glacivolt? Sure. Okay, so she is going to be a blue cleric. I don't know if that means she'll be a healer, but we're at least starting with the cleric class, which is a very useful class at like being able to resist mana reductions. Even if it's a little bit lower, it is helpful to at least have the chance. And then the construct family gets the construct core as their family bonus. We'll go into the core for this one. I can only assume it's similar to the last one, so we probably have a minion core. All right, down to empowered resist special skill blocking. This character is immune to status ailments that prevent the use of special skills. They also gain, what is that, 450 boosted health and 5% mana each time they resist. So not only does she resist special blocking, but she's going to go ahead and get the additional health and mana for doing so. I think that's really cool. I like the extra bonuses for resisting as well. Then over here we have the minion core. The minion core says, with a fully charged minion core, summons a killer bot minion with 22% health and 55% attack inherited from the caster on all allies. The HP and attack inherited from the minion are scaled with the amount of boost in the core, or damage she's received, if you will. And then it says, before the killer bot minion hits a target, it destroys all minions from the target and damages mega minions. Okay, so very similar to what we saw in the last one. And we'll go a little bit more into that towards the end of the video when I do the review, but we also have a defense up for Aether Power. This is a pretty standard useful one. I do like the extra survivability it gives at the beginning of a fight. As we continue down, we get Wrath of the Frozen Soul, or Wrath of Frozen Soul. Operating at fast speed, it will deal 270% damage to all enemies. All enemies get negative 20% defense, and a further 5% decrease for each ice shield on the board for 3 turns up to negative 50% defense. All enemies receive 645 frost damage over 3 turns. Okay, so immediately when I look at this guy's special, it reminds me a lot of Slimgo, which is a blue slime that I have. Very similar. It's a fast attack all that leaves a reasonable dot behind and also has an additional effect. That one reduces mana generated by 33% for all enemies. This one does a defense down. If you look at those two skills alone, I'd say they're pretty much on par with each other. However, this person does have the construct core to go ahead and give minions to all of your allies. That is pretty nice, but it is fair to point out that the minions, first of all, need to be maxed out, and even to get the biggest benefit, and even when they are maxed out, it's only 22% health. So we're not talking about very beefy minions. It might be even more effective to just use them when they're up for their minion clearing abilities rather than rely on them as like strong minions to help keep you alive. It is fun and gimmicky. I don't know if it's super strong, but I don't hate it as an extra ability that they've sort of created for these guys. Being unable to stop this guy is pretty fun. I don't know if I necessarily feel like this guy's the worst thing you got to stop, but still, it's nice that he can't be, or she can't be. And then finally, I think the defense down is quite interesting here because it's negative 20% defense and a further 5% decrease for each ice shield on the board for 3 turns up to negative 50%. So if I understand this correctly, it says a further 5% decrease for each ice shield on the board for 3 turns, up to negative 50% defense. So is that a constantly fluxing thing? Like, I assumed that this would go off and then it would be whatever it was when the special went off. But the way this is worded makes it sound like it's going to constantly flux over 3 turns based on the number of ice shields on the board. So I don't know. The reason that that concerns me slightly is simply because it will probably go up, which is good. If you're trying to get this guy off at the beginning of a fight because he's fast and you want the effect up quickly, you're most likely using the majority of the blue shields on the board to get the special off because you're going to need to match 2 sets of 3 to get this guy off. So you're probably not getting a big benefit from additional defense down. And if I'm reading this correctly, it seems as though if more blue shields show up over the next 3 turns, it will continue to affect the amount of defense down. That's kind of nice. Getting defense down up at fast speed is always useful because in theory you should have it up before your heavier hitters then mana up and get ready to go. I think this guy's a good setup. All in all, like I'd say he's fairly useful. He's not game changing, but I'll give this guy an 8 out of 10 only because he does do a fast hit all dot to all and defense down to hopefully follow up the next turn or two with a nice heavy hitter who they now are facing a defense down against to allow them to hit even harder. So, yeah, I mean, all in all, let's give him an 8. It's nothing like game changing, but just a well designed, versatile character that should fit most teams. So, congrats if you pull him. I look forward to catching you next time, everyone.